This is Haystack Help Radio on KLZ 560. Haystack Help Radio is powered by HaystackHelp.com. Finding help can be like finding a needle in a haystack, but with HaystackHelp.com, finding the needle just got easier. Now, Haystack Help Radio with Scott Watley on KLZ 560.
Good afternoon and welcome to Haystack Help Radio. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Scott Watley. We appreciate you being with us. Be sure and check out our website, HaystackHelp.com. There you'll find a lot of great companies to do business with. And one of the very first folks that signed up with us was a gentleman sitting with me today, Mr. Kurt Rogers from Affordable Interest Mortgage. How are you, sir?
I am doing just fine. How do you just love this Colorado weather?
Man, awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Now, you and I were probably, we talked about the eclipse here.
Yes.
And it was a great event, and it happens every so often. But you and I both kind of I was a little disappointed.
I know. It's kind of like going to getting invited to a fireworks show, and then somebody brings out a sparkler.
Yeah.
You know? I mean.
You and I talked about 92%. It's like, okay, I expected it to be darker, but your comment was, even at 8%, we get a lot of sun.
Absolutely. But I'm glad I didn't spend the money and go to Wyoming and pay $1,000 for a hotel room
or spend 10, 12 hours
7 hours
driving
on the road.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Our show today is a special edition, Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. You can reach them for all your mortgage needs at 720-895-0500, 720-895-0500. Kurt, before we get to our guest today, let's talk a little bit about mortgages. And what are we seeing in our market? Are we staying ahead or slowing down, peaking out? Where are we at?
We actually have a few more homes available than we did before. We used to have like a 27-day supply. I think we're up to like 37 to 45 days. It's not really slowing down. It's kind of settling down a little bit. A lot of people have decided, in the summertime, there's a lot of people that are traveling and not doing things. We're starting to see it pick back up. Rates are still staying pretty low, so that's keeping us pretty active there. They're just still not able to build homes as fast as they really need to meet the demand, because we still got lots of people moving into Colorado.
I tell you, the apartments that are being built around.
Everywhere.
I mean, I don't care where you go around the city, there's construction
Everywhere.
and apartments being built.
Yeah,
Wow.
There's so many of them, and I remember back in '08 when we kind of went through the same thing, and then now all of a sudden you got all these empty apartments. I'm hoping we kind of keep this and steady it out as it goes along.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about qualifying for a mortgage. Scares a lot of people sometimes, especially maybe first-time home buyers, or you've been through a few bumps with the credit. What's going on with the whole qualifying process right now?
That actually is starting to get a little, I guess you could say, easier. They've changed some of the regulations. They've loosened up some of the guidelines that actually make it better. For example, effective on July 1st, they no longer report judgments and tax liens on your credit report if they cannot produce 3 pieces of information. Because there's about 80% of those that are reported incorrectly. So the credit bureaus have cleaned them up. What that does is allows your credit scores to be a little bit higher. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have raised their debt-to-income ratios from 43 to 50%. Now, what that means is when you count all your debt from your gross income, it cannot exceed 50% of what you make.
Okay.
At 43%, it kept a lot of people that could actually afford to buy a home away from doing that. So they've kind of stretched that back. Prior to '08, it was pretty much unlimited. So those things have actually kind of helped people be able to buy homes. In addition, they've come out with some loan programs, like 2% down with no mortgage insurance. Not a government loan, 2% down, no mortgage insurance. So those kind of programs are actually helping to stimulate the market and get some people back into it.
Right. Refinancing. Good time to do that right now?
Oh, absolutely, in my opinion, because rates are still low. Rates haven't moved a whole lot. You can still get a 30-year fix for under 4%. Where can you borrow enough money to either pay off your debts, credit cards that are much higher, or where can you redo your kitchen or do your kitchen, put in hardwood floors, or make improvements to your basement at 4% money or less?
Right.
So, yeah, and with home values continuing to increase at between 6 and 8%, what a house that used to be $250 is now worth $350. So pull out some money, fix it. It's just a much better deal. So yeah, it's a great time still to refinance.
All right, you're listening to Your Money Matters. We are glad to also welcome in studio for the first time John Chu, and John's a realtor. John, how are you, sir?
Doing well today, Scott. How about yourself?
Great to have you in studio with us.
My pleasure.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a residential real estate broker with RE/MAX Masters Millennium. Been in the industry now for going on 27 years come this January. I had the pleasure of being with RE/MAX for the last 2 years, and just really enjoy the privilege and pleasure of assisting people with buying and selling homes.
Right. So what are you seeing out there in our market where we are? Because the first of the year is pretty crazy. Where are we at today and just the way you see it?
Well, it seems to be a typical year in the sense that you see a lot of activity and appreciation happening between January and June. That's predominantly when the majority of the appreciation is going on in the market. Come July through December, you see more of a plateauing effect. And actually, I think it's a much better market right now because there's a little bit more balance in the market, a little bit more favorable for buyers. By no means is it not a seller's market, but it is more favorable for buyers at this time than it has been earlier in the year.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your background and then how you even got into real estate.
Well, in January of 91, I started in the real estate title insurance field, and I was in that capacity for 22 years, serving mortgage brokers, real estate agents, government entities from the real estate title insurance perspective. And about 5 years ago, decided to segue into working with individual buyers and sellers, which has definitely been a very rewarding industry personally.
Now, you're also a veteran.
Yes, sir. Kurt, yeah, I served in the 82nd Airborne Division from 1985 to 1989. So working with veterans is definitely a very near and dear part of my business, as well as I think I've shared with you in the past, Kurt. My brother was killed in Iraq in 91. Oh, wow. So that is definitely something that's very near and dear to my heart.
So that's kind of as you and I've talked in the past about. That's really what you work at. You try to help more veterans.
Correct.
Understand how they can buy a home and try to help them get into them.
Absolutely. If you look at the statistics for how many of the American population are veterans, it's just over 7% have ever served in the military. Went back and looked at my business, and my business is represented by about 33% of my clients are veterans. So about 4.5 times the actual average for veterans living in the United States.
Do you find a lot of times that veterans really don't understand all the benefits that may be coming to them?
Absolutely, Scott. It happens all the time, whether it's from the home buying benefits to the educational benefits to all the other ancillary benefits. I will say that back in my day, and of course my day was quite a while ago.
I know what you mean.
But there wasn't really too much about the benefits in terms of out processing. You know, we were more giddy to get back to our civilian lives, it seemed like at that time.
Sure.
But we didn't really talk about benefits. And so I run into a lot of veterans who don't understand that they may be eligible for a VA home mortgage. They don't know what the criteria is, and they tend to turn themselves down before even considering talking to someone like Kurt.
Yeah, and I run across the same thing when I'm talking. One of the basic questions I ask somebody when they're going to buy a house, are you a veteran? Because to me, when I look at a VA loan, it is hands down the best loan available. It has no mortgage insurance. It has the best rates possible, and they will do 100%. Now, not all veterans will want to do that, but it's an option for them and it's pretty simple to get. I can get you pretty well, find out your eligibility within a couple hours.
Absolutely. In fact, I had the pleasure of getting a veteran under contract yesterday. In fact, it was quite a busy weekend. Wrote 3 offers, got 3 accepted. One of them is currently deployed in Afghanistan. I have not even met him. He was a 3rd-level referral from another veteran, and I had the pleasure of working with his wife to help him have a home when he returns back from deployment.
Wow.
Now, because we're both in the same industry, one of the things I see sometimes when I'm talking with agents, a lot of agents have a problem when I give a pre-approval for a veteran because they're afraid of that loan being tougher. Can you kind of explain how they think that way?
I think there's some misconceptions in the industry based on information in the past, where in the past there were additional fees incurred to sellers with accepting a VA loan. That's no longer the case, as you can attest to, Kurt. And typically veterans don't have a large surplus of additional cash sitting in reserve, so they are traditionally going more of 100% financing. Some sellers perceive that as not as strong as of a buyer. However, that's also not the case. And in fact, the buyer from yesterday very happy about her securing that property. We were actually able to get it at $5,000 below the asking price, which is another misconception in the industry, is that every home's going above asking price.
That's true. I'm seeing that too. Yeah, some are, but not all.
Right.
You're starting to see a little bit of movement in that area.
So what's your main area of focus? South metro area, or where are you mainly?
Well, that's a good question, Scott, because I put on quite a few miles. I by working by referral only, or predominantly, I should say, it kind of carries me all over the metro area. So currently I have a listing in Nederland, Colorado. I just closed one in Loveland, Colorado, another buyer in Fort Collins, Colorado. I don't typically go that far out. Typically, it's all mostly in the Denver metropolitan area. I grew up out here in Aurora, so I know this area very, very well.
All right. What's the best number for folks to get a hold of you?
Best telephone number for me is my cell. It's on 24/7, 303-931-8404.
Sound like me, 24 hours.
If I don't answer, it's only because I'm asleep.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned that about a third of your business is veterans.
Correct.
Why are you roughly 4.5 times higher than the national average?
Well, I think that's a combination of certain things. Number one, I think with veterans, they're a little bit more cautious to trust. And having been a veteran, or being a veteran myself, that gives a little bit of credibility right off the bat. I do share my background, especially with my brother's service over in Iraq, my own service with the 82nd Airborne Division. So that helps get in that circle with veterans. I think the other thing is that a lot of veterans are on the lower price ranges as far as purchases. And so what that means is it's a little bit more work. You have to be very committed. You have to be very persistent. You have to be rapidly able to change gears and, go show a property on an hour's notice. So some don't want to work with that demographic. However, for me, it's absolutely the most emotionally rewarding segment of the business. When you have a young mother who's getting a home for the first time, and you see tears in her eyes because she's excited to have a place for her kids, or you see the kids running through the house and picking out the bedrooms for the first time. So when I say it's the most emotionally rewarding, it definitely is.
Yeah, because they're not going from one base to another.
Right.
And all of a sudden, because we understand that. I was in for several years, and all my brothers went. You kind of move around a lot.
Correct.
And being able to say, okay, this is now my home, has a great benefit. So I enjoy when I'm able to help a veteran too.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that.
John Chu is our guest. If you'd like to reach John, you can reach him at 303-931-8404, 931-8404. So what does a initial consultation look like with you? So, let's say a veteran person calls you and, what are some of the main questions that you ask in the beginning to see if you can be of help?
Correct. Well, first thing is, we try to sit down and get a needs assessment, find out what the family's looking for. A lot of times they don't even know what they're looking for other than that they want a home. Most have no concept of how price really affects them on a regular basis. For example, if somebody, typically the question is, how much home do you want to buy? Well, $300,000, $400,000, that's kind of abstract because most don't have that sitting in the bank. So I try to break it down, what's the most comfortable mortgage payment? And this is where I work hand in hand with Kurt, is that they're looking at it for what they can afford monthly. And if you can inversely calculate what the mortgage amount will be. So typically I'll say, what's an ideal mortgage payment for you? They might say $1,500 to $1,800 a month. Well, then I know that they're looking at probably in about a $300,000 price range. Try to find out, what's their wish list and, what's their needs list. Find out what's typically most important for them. And then we just start to begin the process, letting them view homes online until they get a comfort zone there. Then we start the process of showing them actual properties once they've identified ones they're interested in.
And $1,500, $1,800 a month, Kurt, hard to rent for that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, here.
That is true. I mean, on a $300,000 house, if you're trying to rent that, it's probably going to cost you $2,200 to $2,300. So you can actually buy for less than you can rent. We're seeing a lot of that going on. So yeah, you could $1,500 to $1,800 buys you $300,000 to $325,000 house, especially as a veteran. Because, like I said, there's no mortgage insurance.
Right. You're listening to Haystack Help Radio, a special edition of Your Money Matters. Kurt Rogers here, Affordable Interest Mortgage. John Chu is our guest. If you've got any questions, hey, if you're a veteran out there and you've got a question, we'll open up the phone lines, 303-477-5600. We'll be right back.
What could you do with an extra $500, $1,000, or even $1,500 per month? How would that change things for you? Would you buy a new car, pay off bills, or just feel a bit more secure about your retirement? What if I told you there's a way to make your dreams a reality? I'm talking about trading and investing in the market. Now, before you say, oh, that's not for me, just hear me out. I want to invite you to a half-day trading course so you can check this out. I promise you, you'll go away smarter than when you came in. We here at Online Trading Academy sponsor this, and we'll even send you home with a free home study video guide. Your money's doing nothing for you in a CD or mutual fund. Learn how to profit when the market's up or down. Call us now while seats are still available at 303-325-2776. Use offer code radio50. 303-325-2776. That's 303-325-2776.
Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage. Pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Need access to your equity for cash out to pay off debt, make that long-needed home improvement, or just take that vacation? Take advantage of AIM's The All About You event, where you'll receive a $300 gift card for any closed loan. Use at Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond, or Lowe's. And the opportunity for $1,000 cash, 3 days in Breckenridge, or a new 55-inch flat screen. Call 720-895-0500 for details. If you are tired of paying mortgage insurance, stop. Loans to 95% loan to value with no MI. Looking at buying that new home? Paperless loan approvals with low rates to 97% loan to value and quick closes. Take AIM 720-895-0500. Find out why more Coloradans every day choose AIM for their mortgage needs, where you come first. Call now to take advantage of the All About You event. $300 now and the opportunity for another $1,000. Call for details. 720-895-0500. Regulated by DOR and MLS 298191. Equal credit lender.
Don't fall for gimmick ads when choosing your insurance coverage. Group Insurance Analyst has been Colorado's insurance superstore since 1984, where customers can compare and shop for all of their insurance needs. At GIA Insurance, their brokers have no allegiance to any particular health, auto, or home insurance company. Take advantage of their experience, expertise, and exceptional client service. For your free quote, call today at 303-423-0162. That's 303-423-0162. Visit their website, e-gia.com, or stop by their office at 44th and Garrison Street in Wheat Ridge. Group Insurance Analyst is an official Haystack Help registered company.
Tired of walking into gun stores and seeing the same guns everywhere you go? Check out our sponsor, Old Steel Historical Firearms. Hi, this is Scott Watley of Sportsman of Colorado. At Old Steel, they specialize in the purchase and sale of historical firearms. Need to get your firearm collection appraised? They can help. Buy, sell, trade, and consignments are welcome at Old Steel. Open 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Old Steel Historical Firearms is located at 12 East Girard Avenue in Inglewood. That's just 2 blocks north of Hamden off Broadway. Now you can own a piece of history at Old Steel Historical Firearms. Call 720-662-7252. That's 720-662-7252. Check out their website, oldsteelguns.com.
Well, we did it now. Hi, Dan Johnson from Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, and we received a special allocation of over 600 new Chevrolets, and we're out of room. So to relieve our problem, check these deals out. A 2017 Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 for up to $11,000 off MSRP, or lease a 2017 Chevy Cruze for only $199 a month, sign and drive, or a 2017 Chevrolet Equinox for up to $6,000 off MSRP. Go east and pay the lease. Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or on the web at lynnlylechevrolet.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Rush to Reason with John Rush. Weekdays from 3 to 7 on KLZ 560.
Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio, special edition of Your Money Matters. Kurt Rogers is with us from Affordable Interest Mortgage. Matter of fact, we'll take your calls on mortgages as well while we're talking about real estate and mortgages. Affordable Interest Mortgage, AImortgage.net is Kurt's website. John Chu is our guest. And if you want to reach John, 303-931-8404, 303-931-8404. Talking here in the break a little bit, John, what are just some of the recent stories? Again, this is extra satisfying for you because of your background and what's going on in your own personal family life. But just tell us a couple of stories that are good for this.
Well, thanks a lot, Scott. So just thinking about back over the last couple of months, some of the, specifically the veterans I worked with, had a young couple, Charlie and Emily, able to purchase a $189,000 condo down in Parker. So for those who don't think that there are still things in the 100 price range or the 200 price range, they're still there. Obviously smaller units, but it was a really nice condominium. We got them into that, closed here last month. Very excited about that property. He's an Army veteran. Had the lady I spoke of whose husband is currently deployed over in Afghanistan. Got them under contract yesterday. We had another one that really kind of resonates with me was I had a veteran out of California, was relocating to Colorado about 2-3 months ago. His name's Eugene and his wife Danielle. And they trusted me to basically pick the house for them. It was kind of an unusual situation. They weren't able to come out and take a look at homes. And so they were able to view homes online. They would identify which ones they were interested in. And then I would go around and show them to myself because my buyers were not there.
John, do you like this?
Yes, I do. What do you think? Well, my couch fit over here.
Exactly. So took a few photos, gave them a detailed analysis of the homes. And in the end, they were able to select one from that understanding. And first time they saw their home was the day before closing. We did a walkthrough. And they're excited. He's now over at Buckley Air Force Base and continuing to serve.
Now, you have something special you do for veterans because of your history being a veteran and your brother. There's a special program, there's special offers that you have for veterans.
Correct. I try to always give something back on every transaction, something that I think is substantial and not self-promoting. In a sense, in every closing, I try to determine, what could help the veteran out. And so for a buying client, oftentimes that'll be, having their home professionally cleaned right when they move in,
right, at
my expense. In other times, it's helping them with a gift card for a certain appliance, or in other situations, it's been giving back 10% of my commission towards their closing costs and prepaids. For a selling client, typically what I do is I discount my typical listing fee by 25% for veterans.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay, now, and veterans are important in my next question, but in what you do, you said you also list homes.
Correct.
And then you sell.
Correct.
You represent the buyer or the seller. Of those two sides, if you were going to list a house, how do you talk to that client on how they should prep their house or what they should do to get the most for their home?
Well, fortunately, we are in a seller's market still, so a home doesn't need as much prep in this market as it would be in a buyer's market. However, one of the first steps is to go into the home and give a firsthand assessment of things that need to be done and things that you may want to do. Oftentimes, I encounter sellers who are far more ambitious about prepping their home and wanting to spend resources to get that done than they particularly need to be. Obviously, we want to try to kind of market it to a broad market appeal. So certain, custom cosmetic issues, I would recommend that they don't do. But I always try to give them an assessment right up front of things that we need to do to prepare the home for sale, essentially clean it and arrange the furniture, perhaps declutter it, and get it professionally photographed before it goes on the MLS.
Yeah, because as we own a home, we have a tendency to put a lot more animal heads up on the wall or build rooms to put more animal heads on the wall. Right, Scott?
Hey, that's what makes a home. Nothing like having some great trophies around. Yes, absolutely. So, Kurt, when it comes to the mortgage side of this with veterans, is it a different process that a veteran may go through than, say, a normal civilian, or pretty much the same process?
It's pretty much the same process. The qualifications actually, in my opinion, are a little bit easier. Their debt-to-income ratios can be higher. That's why the 100% works. The only thing I need to do is have either a DD-214, and if I don't have it, I then get a certificate of eligibility, but I can get that in a couple hours. And once I have that, then I know how much they're qualified for. Now, like you said earlier, John, most veterans won't necessarily want to spend that much money. They may qualify for more, but they don't have to. One of the other nice things that I like about VA loans is there is basically no limit on how high you can go, and that rate doesn't change per se. Meaning which it's a $300,000 house or an $800,000 house, I can still get them a great rate, no mortgage insurance, and they can do almost 100% financing. The limits are once you cross the 493, For every dollar above that, you have to come with 70 or 25 cents. So if it's a $500,000 house, you have to put $25,000 down.
Okay.
Versus a $400,000, I'm sorry, $600,000 house, you're going to have to put $25,000 down because the VA will do $493. Right. They call that a high balance. But and those are great loans. You can actually go over $1 million on a VA. So that's a tremendous opportunity for people that might want to use that didn't even know it was there.
So, John, if things changed over the last, let's say, you look at 5 years ago of how you were doing real estate with veterans to what you're doing today, has much changed in the process or different things that are better for veterans? I mean, I think all of us want our veterans to be taken care of, and we've done some shows, Kurt and I, with the Veterans Administration here, and boy, it seems like it can be a pretty frustrating thing for veterans just to, get to them and get help.
Right.
So has your process improved, hopefully, for them?
I think the process is pretty streamlined. Obviously, what's critical is aligning yourself with the correct mortgage broker. You need someone like Kurt, who's an expert in handling VA transactions, because there is some misinformation out there with those who don't understand, the intricacies of VA mortgages. As Kurt was alluding to, I had a buyer coincidentally named Kurt, who is a Marine Corps veteran. He just purchased a home for $505,000, and he ended up coming to closing with about $3,000. That's not bad for a $505,000 home.
And a great rate.
And he was under the impression he couldn't go above the 493 limit because that's some of the misinformation that's out there. Another piece of misinformation, too, is that people believe that they can't use it for a subsequent purchase. They think it's for the first time they purchase a home or the first time they use their VA. You can do it for subsequent purchases. In fact, and Kurt probably can elaborate more on the differences in the funding fees with down payments on that.
Well, one of the things, and you bring up a very good point, they'll say, well, I already used my VA, I can't use it again. And VA changed several years ago to where the only way you could reuse your VA if another veteran had purchased your home and assumed that VA. That's gone away. So when you sell a VA home, your eligibility goes back to where it was instantly. I've actually in the process now, one guy is getting out of his VA to buy another VA. So the day after we close this one, his eligibility comes back and we can close his next one. So the subsequent redoing them, I've had several that will do it more than once. They've had 3 or 4 over their lifetime. So you can redo a VA more than once. Right. And you can also turn a VA into a rental. Now, you can't buy it as a rental, but you can turn it into a rental if you want to move out of it, turn the property in. You can't have 2 VA loans at the same time, though.
So I tell you, it would be a great thing. Maybe if you're, again, are a veteran out there and maybe you're renting, be a great thing just to call John and, let you kind of go through some of the things that and share. And you know what? Hey, if you want to stay renting, stay renting. But you can show them how they can buy a home and maybe pay less a month.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's where it's such a pleasure to be able to educate fellow veterans on the process. I look at my role as not necessarily a real estate salesperson. In fact, not at all a real estate salesperson. I'm an analyst, a guide, consultant, advisor. Tell my clients that they're the CEO of this transaction and I'm the employee. I'm just there to assist them.
Mm-hmm. Again, you're listening to a special edition for Haystack Help Radio of Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. If you've got any mortgage needs, give Kurt a call, 720-895-0500. And if John can help you out, you can reach him at 303-931-8404. We are doing a Facebook Live today with our show. Check out our page on Facebook, Haystack Help. Again, we have a free consumer referral list for companies. We do background checks on these companies to make sure we are bringing you the very best, make sure contractors, for example, are insured properly or licensed properly. And so you can find that at haystackhelp.com. We got to take a short break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Are you buying your first home, or are you right-sizing or downsizing for lower maintenance or a lock-and-leave lifestyle? This is Pamela Meyer of Denver Home Navigators with Keller Williams. I can help you discover and reach those goals. This is more than just real estate. It's about your life and your dreams. Call me today for your free consultation at 303-506-0106. At Denver Home Navigators, we help map your course. It's all about you. Call me now at 303-506-0106 or visit my website at denverhomenavigators.com. I'm Pamela Meyer, the exclusive agent for Haystack Help Radio, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Did you know that each and every day, 21 United States veterans commit suicide? Last year, active duty suicides surpassed the number of combat deaths. When soldiers come home, it is a huge adjustment, and they're often plagued with disabilities, such as immobility, PTSD, or a traumatic brain injury. You can help by donating to Freedom Service Dogs. This nonprofit rescues dogs from local shelters and trains them to become service dogs for these heroes. Help give back to those who have given so much. Donate now at freedomservicedogs.org.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services every day, all at one location. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, advanced medical care, surgery, boarding, grooming, obedience training, food, care products, or toys, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us to provide top-notch care in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at lonetreevet.com or just give us a call at 303-708-8050.
This is Scott Watley for my friends at Rampart Firearms in Sedalia. This is a great store, family owned and operated. They buy, sell, trade, and consign firearms. You will find a great selection of new and pre-owned handguns, shotguns, and rifles. If you can't find the gun you want, Rampart Firearms will special order your gun at no extra cost. Found a gun on the internet? Rampart Firearms will do one firearm transfer and the background check for only $10 if you mention Sportsman of Colorado. Rampart Firearms, 720-468-0050. That's 720-468-0050. Located at Highway 67 in Santa Fe in Sedalia. Rampart Firearms open 7 days a week. 720-468-0050.
Denver's Afternoon Rush. Rush to Reason is coming up at 3. Now, back to Haystack Help Radio.
And we are back. You're listening to Haystack Help Radio in a special edition of Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. Again, they can handle all of your mortgage needs. 720-895-0500. Check out their website, aimortgage.net. Talking a little real estate today. John Chu is our guest, and if John can be of help to you, you can reach him at 303-931-8404. 303-931-8404.
Okay, we had kind of talked about this earlier. Values of homes. They're not quite going up as much, but also offers on homes. What are you starting to see? You had mentioned it a little bit earlier. What are you really starting to see in different offers?
Well, I'm starting to see that offers are being considered on a one-by-one basis, where typically over the spring and summer, the norm would be a property would go on the market on Friday. The listing agent would then gather all offers prior to Monday and then review them, and that could be anywhere from 5 to I think one that I put an offer in on, we competed with 40 other offers.
40?
40 other offers on that property. But things have kind of, like Kurt said, have settled a little bit more. And now properties are sitting a little bit longer on the market.
Yep.
But by no means are they staying on the market long. But on the other side of that is that a home that's been on the market 5, 7, 10, 12 days, they're reviewing offers one by one as they come in. So instead of selling a property for more than it's worth, you're actually buying a property for what it's worth.
Right. And because I get calls from agents that are selling, from my buyers that are going out, and they want to know more. They're not, they like the offer, but they want to know where we at in the loan. How fast can we close the loan? Because the guy selling the house is moving somewhere. So the time frame it takes for him to sell that house, he has to coordinate that with the house he's trying to buy. So that starts to become important. We talk about pre-approvals all the time, and that becomes very important in that portion of it.
Correct. In regards to the one that one of the ones we got under contract yesterday, the fact that she was already pre-approved was a big motivating factor for the seller, because the seller wanted to close within 30 days, which we can do if someone's pre-approved, especially if you've gone through affordable interest mortgage to get that done. But that was able to get us the contract at $5,000 below the asking price because we were able to close within 30 days.
So you got it for less money.
Correct.
Simply because,
the seller wants to avoid that debt service on the property for an additional 15 or 30 days.
Sure.
Yeah, so it adds up.
So the negotiation of all of this is huge, and that's why it's so important to get a realtor that does this 24/7. I think a lot of times they've got the relative that dabbles in real estate, and they feel committed to them. And I'm like, don't do that, Take them out to dinner, do something, but don't let them handle that, because when you're looking at, maybe putting that offer in, you got one shot at that, right?
Absolutely. I think you've got to be, and I think the same is true in any profession. You have to be entirely focused on one role and doing the best to your ability for the client. Just a typical example of my normal day, I get a call, hey, I want to see a property in an hour. I have to shift gears automatically, always recognizing that the number one priority is to show potential buyers homes.
Right.
So everything else goes on the back burner. Paperwork, everything else goes on the back burner, because now I've got to get out there and assist that client. If I had a second job where I was working 8 to 5 and only doing real estate in evenings and weekends, wouldn't be able to be as flexible and adaptable for my clients.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk.
One of the questions we had talked earlier about you listing homes. So when you're representing a buyer, do most of your buyers, like you just said, do they pick up the phone and call you and say, I want to look at a house, or they're normally referred to you and then you sit down and have a consultation with them and try to, what does that look like?
90% of the time, it's a referral. In fact, if I go back and look at all my business this year, every single one of the 37 transactions has been a referral from a past client or a friend or family member who's worked with me in the past. So we sit down, we do a consultation, just go through the process with them. One of the things I don't do that some other agents do is immediately secure them into a buyer's contract.
Right.
I don't do that. I kind of look at it like we need to get to know each other. We need to determine if you want to work with me, if I want to work with you. I kind of liken it to going on a first date and asking to get married. So we need to get to know each other a little bit first and make sure that I'm going to be the right one to represent them. I may not be a fit for everyone.
Right.
No.
But it is a free consultation, we'll
Absolutely.
call it. Yeah. And,
Absolutely.
And I think that's good for both parties, because sometimes you get that personal person that, while you're the expert in this, they kind of want to tell you how to do your job. That never works.
Absolutely. I see my role as a consultant and a guide. I've got a young lady right now who has told me she doesn't want to purchase a home until a year from now. Yet we're still going out and looking at properties so that she can get used to the process in a non-threatening and a comfortable environment. We're going out and showing properties as if she was a current buyer, but she has no intention of doing it until next year.
So it's never too early to
Not at all.
give you a call.
Not at all. I'm happy to get
at least
people,
establish that relationship.
I'm happy to get them started in the process, get them with a reliable mortgage consultant like Kurt, and take them out and show them some property so that it's not such an overwhelming process for them when they actually get started for real.
Right. So what is the timing as we sit here today? Someone calls you, we go out, we look at a house, you put an offer in, it gets accepted. How long are we talking now till close?
Well, typically, we're looking at my process usually is about 3 months from the point we go under contract till we close, anywhere from 30 to 45 days. When I say 3 months, usually when we begin, we're kind of getting a sense for the market, sense for neighborhoods and all that. So I'd say that the first couple weeks of showings are just to kind of get familiarized with the process. At that point, we start to kind of look at more specific homes and identify ones and then submit a couple of offers. And that process can take anywhere from, sometimes we get lucky and it's the first day out, as in the case yesterday. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 or 4 weeks. What I tell my buyers, what I really try to work with them on is don't get discouraged by the market. Don't get discouraged. I've had buyers who said, I don't want to waste your time. It's not a waste of my time. It's a pleasure for me. And secondly, it's not a waste of time unless we quit. If we quit and get discouraged, then,
that was a waste of time.
Then it was a waste of time.
Now, I'm sure you've watched the show House Hunters.
Yes.
One of the things I always chuckle when I watch that is it seems to take them a week to 2 weeks to look at these 3 different homes. Well, most homes wouldn't last that long in Colorado.
Not at all.
I kind of chuckle at that. But when you're dealing with clients, do you run across sometimes you have these clients that are buying a home and they are so opposed to what the other one wants and the struggles that they go through. Do you actually run through that with clients? You know how she says, all I want's a ranch, and he says, all I want's a 2-story.
Well, yeah, that does happen, although I've learned from my own trial and error in my personal life that you always listen to the woman.
That's correct.
Happy wife, happy life. But yeah, generally they're on the same page. I mean, or, typically, they're already talked about those issues well in advance, and so that never really becomes an issue. Sometimes there's some challenges in the price ranges, i.e., the young couple, Charlie and Emily, who we just got them closed on a condominium. Because of their price range being under $200,000, we had to open ourselves up to a large geography. Our typical day would consist of starting in Golden, working our way to Westminster, North Glen Thornton, Aurora, and Parker in the same day. So, I mean, I've had clients that I've done, I think my record's 120 showings for one client. In one weekend, I did 51 for a Navy recruiter who came up here for 3 days. And so we just jammed in 51 showings in 3 days.
How do you remember all that? I'd have a hard time unless I filmed them.
The properties themselves?
Yeah.
One of the ways I suggest to the clients is when we go out in the beginning of the day, if we've got 10 showings, when we see the first one, that's house number 1 on the list. If we get to number 2 and number 2 is better than number 1, now you have a new number 1. Always just remember the number 1 house on the list.
Just exclude.
Correct. And then I also do printouts of all the homes that we're going to go see so that they can write notes as we're going along through the process.
To kind of give them, to remind them.
Right. So I'll print them out the data from the MLS with photographs of the house so that they can write notes as we go along. So at the end of the day, when we summarize and recap, we can kind of identify, okay, this one was number 1, this one was number 2, this one was number 3. So if we're going to make an offer on number 1 and it falls through, we're prepared to go with offer number 2 right away afterwards.
Okay, you have a millennial, and I'm sure you deal with millennials. They say that they're different buyers, but I don't think that they are. So a millennial comes to you that they're buying their first home. What is the biggest surprise to them when they're out looking at homes that they don't understand?
Thinking back to the couple of millennial clients I've had this year, I think it's just understanding, especially in the spring, with the numbers of competing offers and initially, nobody wants to overpay for anything.
Right.
And so helping them to understand that process, and honestly, it's through trial and error. What typically happens is if we're buying in the spring and things are going over asking price at that point, we'll put in the first couple offers below or at asking price. We get shot down. Then the buyer themselves decides, okay, well, maybe we need to be a little bit more aggressive. I'd like to let them dictate that pace so that when they're comfortable, especially if we're looking at going over an asking price on a property,
right,
let them get to that realization rather than me saying, you have to do this.
Now, that brings up the next question that I had. When a customer's making an overprice offer on a home, you then start to run into, just because there's a price, that does not mean that's what the house is worth.
Correct.
Most appraisers will come very close to that. But if you appraise a property for more than, or you make an offer on a house for more than the asking price, that doesn't mean that it will not appraise for that. But
right.
There's times that it won't. How do you guide a client that's going to make an offer over and the appraisal might not come in?
Well, the first thing we do when we're representing a buyer is I presume that my colleagues in the industry have done their research and priced it accurately.
Not assume, you presume. I like the way you said that.
I presume, because I do go back and re-verify that, as is the case of one of the ones over the weekend. In my determination, the property was approximately $20,000 over what the comps and what the appraiser will come in at on that property. Nevertheless, the contract still protects the buyer unless you waive the appraised value objection in the contract. The appraisal is protecting the buyer so that, for example, if you've got a $300,000 property and it appraises at $280,000, the buyer is not obligated to
buy the property
at $300,000. So what we have is either a renegotiation. Sometimes we split the difference where the buyer has to bring in additional cash, and obviously it kind of becomes a little bit of a poker match. So I've got experiences where, it's gone one way, gone the other way, but by and large, the clients have always been satisfied with which way the negotiations have gone.
Right.
Yeah, it's something you do have to pay attention to when you're starting to move that price up.
Absolutely. Well, actually, one of my most exciting experiences was last year. We had a property that we listed at $450, which I thought was aggressive at the time, and we got a contract at $510, $60,000 over the asking price, and about $85,000 over the highest comp. Actually got it to appraise, but I was very prepared with my data, my research, my analysis, and I always make sure that I attend every appraisal, because that's your one opportunity to present your argument to that appraiser.
Yeah, you get a chance to talk to him. I don't.
Absolutely. And then conversely, that same buyer who got $60,000 more on the sale of his home, on the one that he was purchasing, the appraisal came in $30,000 low. We played a little bit of game of poker and told the other agent, if you don't lower the price by $30,000, we're not going to close on it. And so there was a huge swing for that client. Obviously, he was very happy.
Of course. Making that kind of money. Of course.
Absolutely. You're listening to Your Money Matters, special edition here on Haystack Help Radio, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. John Chu is our guest. Again, if John can help you, first of all, he helps everyone, but, a certain segment of his business is with veterans. So, you know what, if you need some help, give him a call, 303-931-8404. We'll be right back.
You were injured in an accident. At first, you didn't worry about it too much. I mean, accidents happen, right? But then the pain started to keep you up all night, and the doctor bills started to pile up. And to top it all off, the person responsible is just avoiding you altogether. So now you're stuck with a bunch of bills that you can't afford. No need to worry. Call me, Kevin Plesh, and get a professional opinion about what you can do. I'll answer all of your questions relating to the accident, and I'll help you to determine if you're entitled to compensation for pain and suffering. I have the experience and the knowledge to navigate the complex maze created by the insurance companies, designed to minimize your claim. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, 303-806-8886, for a free consultation to find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve.
Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage. Pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Need access to your equity for cash out to pay off debt? Make that long-needed home improvement? Or just take that vacation? Take advantage of AIM's The All About You event, where you'll receive a $300 gift card for any closed loan. Use at Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond, or Lowe's. And the opportunity for $1,000 cash. 3 days in Breckenridge, or a new 55-inch flat screen. Call 720-895-0500 for details. If you are tired of paying mortgage insurance, stop. Loans to 95% loan to value with no MI. Looking at buying that new home? Paperless loan approvals with low rates to 97% loan to value and quick closes. Take AIM, 720-895-0500. Find out why more Coloradans every day choose AIM for their mortgage needs, where you come first. Call now to take advantage of the All About You event. $300 now and the opportunity for another $1,000. Call for details. 720-895-0500. Regulated by DOR and MLS 298191. Equal credit lender.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Let me tell you what I love about Stack Optical. They are truly one of the last optician-owned, family-owned optical stores. At Stack Optical, you can be confident you'll receive personal attention. For over 50 years, Alan Stack has shown he really cares about making his customers happy. Stack Optical also has a beautiful new location at 2233 South Monaco Parkway in Denver. Free and easy up-close parking. Stack Optical has an on-site eyeglass production lab. Whether you need office eyewear or a new set of shooting or golf glasses, Stack Optical has the solution with the Stack Sport Pack. Give them a call today and ask for their $69 eye exam, 303-321-1578. That's 303-321-1578. Your eyes and vision are one of the most important things in life. I'm confident at Stack Optical, you'll see the difference. That's 303-321-1578, stackoptical.com.
If you're looking for great deals on outdoor equipment and clothing, we've got you covered. Hi, this is Bill Paddock, owner of the Outdoorsman's Attic, your outdoor gear consignment headquarters. You'll save 20, 30, 40, even 50% on previously owned outdoor gear for the fisherman, hunter, and camper. We also sell live bait, firearms, and ammo. If you're doing a little spring cleaning, bring in your gear to the Outdoorsman's Attic. We'll sell it for you and put cash in your pocket. You can also pick up your hunting and fishing licenses right here at the store. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor gear needs is the Outdoorsman's Attic, located at 2650 West Hampton Avenue in Sheridan, Colorado. 303-781-3626. That's 303-781-3626. Or visit us online at outdoorsmansattic.com. Mention Sportsman's of Colorado and receive 20% off all your outdoor clothing.
Hi, Dan Johnson, General Manager of Lynn Lyle Chevrolet. You know, I hear it all the time. If you give me a good enough deal, I'll buy your vehicle. So here it is. A 2017 Crew Cab 4x4 loaded for up to $11,000 off MSRP. Or how about a 2017 Chevy Cruze sign and drive lease for only $199 a month? Heck, that's cheaper than a used car. And we'll pay top dollar for your trade-in. So go east and pay the lease. Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or on the web at lynnlylechevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Rush to Reason with John Rush. Weekdays from 3 to 7 on KLZ 560.
Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio, special edition of Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. Once again, they can help you with any kind of mortgage you need. If you need to refinance, a new mortgage, reverse mortgage, they can help you out. 720-895-0500. Our guest today, John Chu, and John is with RE/MAX Masters Millennium, correct?
Correct.
Right, good deal. So, John, you're a realtor. You've been doing this a long time. You work with a lot of realtors. You meet a lot of other different realtors out there. What do you feel kind of sets you apart, or what is your philosophy in business? Maybe that's a good way to say it.
Well, my philosophy, a lot of this I learned from my father, who had a store in the Aurora Mall when it first opened. He was an entrepreneur, had a furniture store, and one thing my dad always told me was that the customer is always right. Now, that doesn't mean that the customer is always right, but that's in the transaction.
Sure.
It's the customer's needs that trump everything else. So focusing on the customer, focusing on what's best for them, not what's necessarily in my best interest. It's always about the client. And in doing so, I believe that if they're happy through the transaction, and in my mind, the transaction, it's important before, during, but you know what? Most importantly, after the sale. After the sale, in the sense that 3 months, 6 months down the road, I want them to still have that warm, fuzzy feeling. My relationship with them doesn't end at closing. Typically, it becomes a relationship, a friendship that carries on far beyond the closing.
Mm-hmm. And, doing what you do just with veterans especially, I mean, if you didn't have that philosophy and you were just, hey, thanks and no more contact, you never know, in a year or two, something in their life could happen very quickly and they need you again. And if you took care of them, hey, they're going to call you.
Well, absolutely. And when I started my real estate career, I realized that by focusing on the people who maybe weren't as well represented, i.e. the people who don't have large sums of money, the first-time home buyers, focus on those people, because if you think about it, if they're happy with your service, as their family grows, as they grow, they're going to move from one home to another. I have a young couple under contract right now. They bought their first home. He's a Marine Corps veteran 2.5 years ago for $168,000 over by Regis University. Believe it or not, that existed 2.5 years ago. Today, carry it forward, 2 years later, they sold that $168,000 home for $284,000. Not bad for 2 years. And now they're stepping up to that next level because now the second child is on the way and they need a bigger home. And so as people go through the stages of their life, hopefully I'm the first one that they consider, based on the past experience, that they call me for the next time around.
Wow.
Now, during the break, you had mentioned you work for RE/MAX Masters.
Correct.
And you kind of threw this statement out and kept going, but RE/MAX Masters is the #1 RE/MAX office. Now, RE/MAX is #1 in the world.
Correct.
But you're the #1 RE/MAX office in North America.
The #1, so it's several different categories, but the #1 single office in the RE/MAX system. And so basically what that means is, we're just one office. We don't have multiple offices in other locations. And if you look at the numbers of transactions done by the numbers of agents in there, that makes us #1 for 4 years in a row, 2013, 14, 15, and 16. And that's a credit to our managing broker, Jim Wanzek, who I have the pleasure of working with. I'm glad he asked me to come over and join him 2 years ago.
He's probably glad he did too.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you think makes that RE/MAX office #1? What do you guys do that might be different?
I've never, before getting my real estate broker's license, I was in the real estate industry as a title insurance vice president of sales, and so was well familiar with all of the different companies out there. And what impressed me about RE/MAX Masters Millennium is just how cutting edge it is on technology. I mean, we have got our own standalone office. They own the building. The technology in there is amazing. I mean, we've got flat screen TVs on every wall that are wired to the iPads. If you want to give a demonstration to a client, to give them every single tool, bell, whistle, they're out there. we've got access to all the different MLSs, not just Denver metro area, but we can look through property all over the state of Colorado through some of the systems that we have in place that most other companies don't have in place. And then the support staff. I mean, the support staff that takes care of making sure that all of our documentation is properly organized. So, the transaction can be challenging on my position. Once we get under contract, it should be cruise control for the buyers or the sellers. I let them just, at that point, they get to relax and wait till closing. And at that point, our work begins.
I got one last question. Is I'm starting to see things happen. What area in Denver Metro do you see is starting to grow and home values increase that's becoming quite popular? Is there a specific area?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with a couple of buyers in an area up near the new VA Medical Center.
Right.
So I think that, to me, in my opinion, that's really an up-and-coming neighborhood. I mean, obviously, we can all talk about the Denver Highlands and downtown and all of those areas, which, if we'd have foreseen it 20 years ago, those were the areas to purchase in. But now they're kind of at their plateau, I would say, or getting closer to it. If you look at the area, specifically there's a subdivision right around north of the VA Medical Center called Morris Heights. There's some great built brick homes over there. Now you've got the infrastructure with the light rail. You've got the east-westbound light rail and the north-southbound light rail through there. You got the VA Medical Center getting ready to open. I just think it's really a vibrant, great place for increasing values over the next couple of years.
Great. Kurt Rogers, your disclosures?
Okay, affordable interest mortgage, 7400 East Arapahoe Road, Suite 109, Centennial, Colorado. We are regulated by the Division of Real Estate, NMLS 298191, and we are an equal credit lender.
John, thank you, sir.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Scott.
It's been
Thank
great.
you, Kurt.
Give John a call, 303-931-8404, 303-931-8404. Kurt, thank you, sir. Cassie, thank you for running our Facebook Live. And, of course, Charlie Grimes behind the glass. Thank you for joining us today. Check out our website, haystackhelp.com, and leave it right here on KLZ 560.
The views and opinions expressed on KLZ 560 are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Crawford Broadcasting, the station, management, employees, associates, or advertisers. KLZ 560 is a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.